So BTS has released their new album Arirang, and I like some songs, I hate some songs. This video is not about that. And if you're going to hate on BTS, this might not be the video for you. I am a marketing student and I am also a music student, and I just wanted to come here and say my point. Okay, so Arirang was released, but before that, there were a lot of promotions. There were quite a few specific things. One, BTS and Hybe actually promoted it as culture of Korea. They would represent Korea, they would represent the culture of Korea, and they would represent the story of seven guys who went from Korea to USA, and that is where the Arirang comes from. Now, we didn't at that time knew that swim would be the title or anything. We knew that it would be seven men, it would be about Korean culture, and everyone started speculating. Armies were very excited. I was excited. I was like, oh my god, culture representation, let's see how it goes, how they would do it. And a lot of things happened. They did not release the covers. It was very hush hush, and it was like, shh, we are BTS, the biggest group, and now we are coming back from hiatus and our military activities and our solo activities, and we are coming together. Everyone was excited. Everyone was like, yay, BTS is coming back and everything. And there was also a promotion where they promoted it by what is your love song. There were hoardings, there were posters, there were a lot of different parts. Even on Valentine's Day, there was an event where they were giving roses and asking, what is your love song? And I still do not understand where did that promotion come from. Like, is that was not a line in any song. A song did not represent the question answer. I don't know. But then it was released that everyone pre-ordered. There was tour announcement and everything, and then it came about the release, and then they released what the title was, what the what the title was, what other songs are, and also who all worked on them. And that is where things started turning a bit weird. It was a Korean album meant to represent Korea, but it was made specifically in the USA. There were many producers involved, many lyricists involved, and yeah, in some of them, BTS members were also involved. But there were like 10, 15 writers, there were a lot of producers, good producers, bad producers who have weird past. Like, it does happen, it happens most of the time. So that was happening. People were like, do we boycott it? And people were and the fishy producers were like, please support us with BTS. And they were like, not really, you are kind of no. And on this is also where hate started coming on from other groups, and maybe some from the BTS armies as well, where they were like, so many people, there is no Korean except BTS, it's going to represent Korean culture, how would they do it, why do they have so many producers? And since I follow Stray Kids, a lot of people were saying that Stray Kids have like three Raja, they are self-produced. Cortis is more self-produced than other groups, and things like that. So they were like, what's going on? Like, why are there so many producers? And one thing to know is that even though this video is not about armies and fandom culture, we all know that armies have dragged everyone of the fandom, and they have feuds and they have ladai and they have everything. things keep happening with armies and other groups, and they diss every group disses them. It's a whole thing. It also is that BTS paved the way, but is it Big Bang or something else? We are not gonna argue about that. I'm just giving you an information that this side also exists. Okay, now the songs were released, teasers were released, and when people looked at the teasers, they were like, what is this? Some people started questioning their English. Some said that, oh, they're on a boat, it looks beautiful. And their dresses did not represent Korean dresses. So, Korean people, when they were on a boat or something, they would not have these type of boats, and they would also not wear these type of clothes. This is what US people would wear. And they were questioning what is it and what are they even trying to say. Their English does not sound good, but never judge someone on being bilingual. Like, I am someone who knows Hindi and English. I understand many languages because I live in India. I'm also trying to learn Thai. It's very hard, especially with a lot of schedules like BTS have. But they were saying it, and a lot of things were happening. But then, when the full album released, hell broke loose. People were like, how does this represent Korean culture? Like, what's happening? Why are we doing this? Every Twitter person who was like, because TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, everywhere the talks were happening, because Twitter or X now is the most active in these things. A lot of fandoms exist there. So K-pop stans and most of the stans were like, how does it represent Korean culture? What is it about? Why have they casted a white lady in swim? What are they trying to do? Why does this sound so weird despite having a lot of producers and lyricists? What is going on? And they started dissing them and started questioning what it means, what it does not mean. Some armies were eating it up, some were like, we don't know, it does not represent, not their best work. And some were like, you have spent 3 years in hiatus, you are coming back with this, you should take more time, you should have done more research. What the hell is happening here? Now, slowly and slowly, more videos just start coming in that BTS is the Korean culture. BTS are the 7 Koreans. They are not representing the Korean culture, they are the culture. And we were like, okay, but still it does not represent the folklore or how it was promoted. And this is where the main thing comes in. This is the point of the video that I'm making also. If you are promoting your album or you are marketing it, or you already have a personal brand, you have a persona, like BTS already had a persona, BTS already had a lot of things. Their brand was set, their fans were set, and everyone was like, the promotion does not match the music. No one told them to make make music dedicated to Koreans. No one told them to make Arirang or have the title Swim. Nobody forced them to hire 15 to 20 different producers. Nobody questioned it because nobody knew what was happening behind the scenes. Then, why did they not change it? Many people, many K-pop groups release albums. They release it on different concepts, they release it on different things, and they have a way of promoting it that relates to the album. The whole point which I got were that from some of the hate was unjustified, as it always is, but some were really questioning. And even I thought, when I listened to the album, I was like, how does it represent the Korean culture? Because that is what we were told would happen. They could have very well made an album, and Swim is a good song. And there are many songs like Hooligan. Hooligan is like, has knife sounds, and a lot of people are loving it. A lot of people are making edits of animes to that, and I've watched them and they are great. They are very good. It looks very good, it feels very good. They also had one bell sound, number 29 if I'm not mistaken, and that is just the sound of the bell. Now, that does represent Korean culture. The bell is significant, but is it now copyrighted? Like, can I not use the bell sound if I want to include it to have some significance in my music? If I want to include just a single piece of it, and can that even be done? Like, we have instruments and then we have chords of the instruments. Now, chords cannot be copyrighted because chords are same, they are limited. So, what does that mean? The bell sound is like a chord. I hit the bell and a sound comes. Can that even be copyrighted? Like, that's a question to ask. Like, do I have to pay money every time I want to use that bell sound to hype? Okay. Then another thing was also that many people actually like it, and some of the stars who like it because they have busy schedules might have had time to know how the promotion was. They just know an album is released, this is the song, I like the song. It is one thing that when you have it set in your mind that, oh, I'm going to learn about Korea from this album, and then you get songs that do not relate at all to it. Now, BTS, if they are the biggest group, and if they are what they say they are, they do not have to keep repeating it. Like, Taylor Swift would not say that she is the biggest female star. We all know it, she's at number one, we understand it, we get it. And yeah, the fans use it, but it is so weird when you flex it. You flex something else. You flex that you have the skills. You flex that you have the support of your fans. You do not flex again and again that you are the biggest group. Because if you keep saying it, there is an ego attached to it. Now, there are some things that started popping up slowly when people were analyzing the album, when people were searching for cultural context, and I will show you evidence at the end that some people were right, and sometimes in some places it does signify a lot of Korean culture if you know about it, if you learn about it, but on the surface it is not there. Now everything would be totally fine. My only question is, then why market it that way? Nobody forced them to market it that way, and a lot of people are actually, even armies are suggesting that aliens, which which relates a lot to the Korean culture and is a lot better in opinions, could have been the title. Then why is it not? Then why is it not? Aliens is very good and people are liking it. But then again, what was the point of Swim being the title? We don't know. We don't know. That's where marketing comes in. You need to be very particular how you market it. You need to understand the context of everything. You might need to research who you work with, but yeah, all of these things are very important. Now, music is very subjective. Sometimes you like the album, sometimes you don't like the album, sometimes you hate it and then you start liking it. I'm just talking about if you are marketing an album or if you are marketing something. If you already don't have a brand, you should have a brand. But if you have a brand, you need to market it in a certain way, because it totally makes sense that BTS are the Koreans and they are making the music and they don't want to be the stereotype, but that do not promote it that way that you will represent the Korean folklore culture. And in some places they have done that, but it's mostly English. No Korean producers or songwriters or anyone is used. Now, I was thinking, what would be a big test if they make an album as Koreans in full English, because they chart in the US, have them write the lyrics and give them the direction, because they are also involved in the writing process. Make the song about how Koreans made their place in the US, how US did them wrong. In India, since I'm from India, we have a lot of movies about the army, about the life of armies. Like, we have song called Sandesh Aate Hain, and we have like patriotic songs, because in US there is not a culture of making music just for the movie, but in India we do that. And there are a lot of songs like that. Now, what would be very, very, very fun is that they make an all English song. They write, even US producers and lyricists write it, and they talk about how they, as Americans, did Koreans wrong. Now, that would be a big diss, because then they would be singing about how they did it wrong. There would be accountability, and we would be like, ha ha, babo. Now, that is something good. That is something like, oh, so you want to sing our songs? Now, this is about Koreans, and you did this wrong. But we are taking the stance that BTS are the Koreans, and whatever they produce represent the Korean culture, and they are not what they say, they are not that, then maybe they should have promoted it that way. What do you think? And here is the evidence I was talking about, where they show how it represents to Korean culture and everything, and it does represent it to some extent. Let me know, what do you think about this?
BTS comeback makes no sense to me, especially their song Swim, Army Before You Crucify Me, Hear Me Out. So the title inspiration of the comeback album Arirang is a 600-year-old folk song. If you ask any Korean, they know Arirang. And it's about the longing, the sorrow, the resilience, the Han of the Korean people. I'm not taking this from AI, this is Apple Music. And they just released the music video for Swim, which is their low-key lead single. This is from Apple Music. Again, this is not my personal opinion. This is from an official site that describes the album. Here's what you see in the music video. The members of BTS dressed in what to me looks like a Western, European, on the boatsman uniform. A lead white woman as the main female lead of the music video, and a song that's entirely consisted of English that talks about swim, swim, water falling off your skin, swim, swim, I could spend a lifetime watching you. Only reference, unless I missed it, to anything remotely Korean is this final shot of the 7 members on a boat that's definitely not a Korean boat, that says Arirang in English on it, that you could barely see. Just to be very clear, I already know the haters are coming and saying, why are you always picking on BTS? Who are you, you ugly piece of whatever. I never asked this album to be dedicated to Korea. I'm a big beneficiary, I think, of the pushes that BTS made in Korean culture. They are the ones who said, Arirang is used as a framing for BTS's deeper cultural roots. Wikipedia, Big Hit Music, stated Arirang captures BTS's identity as a group that began in Korea. Their comeback free concert for the world to see, broadcasted by Netflix, is in front of Gwanghwamun, a historical site for Korea. Multiple news outlets, and this entire thing makes it seem like they are representing Korea. Arirang, again, is Korea's most famous folk song. And yet, when I look at Boatsmen around the same era as where I think this video is historically filmed in, I see this for Korean boatsmen, this for Korean boats, or even something like this. That's clearly, I think anyone that has seen like K-pop Demon Hunters, they would see this is so Korean. In fact, ironically, at the Oscars earlier this week, these people did a better representation of Korean culture in this Oscars performance than whatever Korean representation this is supposed to give. In fact, this one picture I found of Americans entering Korean seas and entering into some kind of little conflict back in the 1800s is more reminiscent of the apparel that BTS is wearing in that music video. So that music video was filmed in the coast of Lisbon, Portugal. And the only Korean name that I recognize in this big hit music produced by List is RM. So I mean this from the bottom of my heart. When Arirang, a 14-track album grounded in Korean cultural identity, you can go on Apple Music and see this right now, see all of their marketing, their start at Gwanghwamun, them selling this is about Korean culture and their roots within it. My question to you is a westernized ship with a Western woman with English-only lyrics filmed on the coast of Portugal, produced by a non-Korean team. I'm asking you, what about this represents Korean culture? Let me know your thoughts.
그러네, 그치? 음악적인 요소도 사용을 했네. 한국적인.
국악기가 들어오네.
여기에 또 넣었구나.
소름 쫙 돋았어.
이거 타이틀 고민했겠네. 아리랑 앨범으로 딱 네이밍 지으면서. 그래, 한국에는 이렇게 넣어줘야지.
우와, 이거 소름이야. 아까부터 얼쑤, 뭐 결에 가사에서 계속 들어가네.
한국적인 요소들이 들어가 있네. 와우, 이게 코리안 예의야. 동쪽에서 뜨는 민족 아닙니까? 와우.
가사 재밌다.
그니까요. 왜 글로벌에서 수보를 당한 게 있었기 때문에
그럼요.
이런 가사 충분히 쓸 수 있어.
둘.
아니 헛들 막 이런 포인트도 그렇고 막 한국적인 걸 찍먹한 느낌이 아니라 진짜 곳곳에 넣어놨다니까?
전혀 찍먹이 아닌데요? 와우.
가사도 완전 한국적인 느낌이었잖아. 이거로 너무 아리랑이라고 해놓고 타 영어고 뭐 한국적인 것도 별로 없고 막 이런 식으로 해서 아리랑이라는 앨범을 써도 되는 거냐라고 생각했는데 그러면 14곡 깽가리
다 깽가리 칠 수 없잖아요.
치고 장구 치고 할까?
다 아랑이고 할 수 없어.
방탄소년단 하면 안 돼. 3월놀이 소년단 해야 돼.
그렇지.
3월놀이소년단. 아니면 국악단 공연을 가세요.
그니까. 그리고 다른 팝 가수 앨범 들어보시면요, 모든 앨범이 다 하나의 주제로 가진 않아요.
그 내 말이 모든
그렇지 않아요.
뭔가 이제 테마가 있고 그거에
맞아요.
약간 겹치는 형식인 거지. 아까 느꼈잖아. 뭐 중몰이 뭐 헛절
맞아요.
이런 거 나온 것처럼 이런 식으로 테마를 가져가는 거지. 모든 느낌으로 그거를 또 그렇게 가져가는 거는
맞아요.
약간 요즘 시대는 촌스럽다.
맞아요. 그냥 이 시도 자체가 의미가 있었던 거지. 막 이거를 막 이게 왜 아리랑이냐 이런 식으로 나오면은 다른 앨범 다 까야 돼요.
So that part about Kimgu and aliens is something that most Koreans would naturally understand because most Koreans learn about Kimgu growing up, but could sound confusing to others. So let me explain. In the song Aliens from Arirang by BTS, RM asked the question in his verse, Kimgu 선생님, tell me how you feel. Why is he asking this to Kimgu? Well, there's a very good reason. Kimgu was a prominent leader of the Korean independence movement who later became a politician in the newly liberated Korea until he was assassinated in 1949. His wish for Korea was not to be an economic or a military superpower, but for us to be a cultural superpower. This is a quote from his autobiography, 백범일지, that I translated from Korean. I want our nation to become the most beautiful country in the world. I do not wish for it to become the most powerful. Having felt the pain of being invaded by others, I do not want my country to invade others. I want us to simply have enough wealth for us to be prosperous and enough strength to defend against invasion. But what I do desire for us without limit is the power of culture, because culture has the power to not only make us happy, but bring happiness to others as well. So naturally, in a song about 7 aliens from Korea spreading its music across the world, of course they throw this question in. And how would Kimgu answer RM's question? Well, I think it'd be pretty obvious what he'd say. So if you've been listening to BTS's Arirang like me, then you might be wondering, what is the bell sound in number 29? Well, this is the Seongdeok Daewang Shinjong, the sacred bell of great King Seongdeok. It is the 29th item on the list of national treasures designated by the Korean government, hence the track name number 29. This 18.9-ton bell was made during the time of unified Shilla, after Shilla had united the three kingdoms of the peninsula through conquest. It was made by King Gyeongdeok in order to honor his father, the great King Seongdeok. It was completed during the time of Gyeongdeok's son, King Haegong, in the year 771. The bell itself is beautiful. It has these patterns of Buddhist symbols and imagery, as well as an inscription consisting of 1,037 characters. This inscription on the bell is considered as one of the greatest masterpieces in the history of Korean epigraphy, and it records the motivation and process behind the bell's creation, as well as the Buddhist ideals of Shilla. But what the bell is really known for is its sound. It has this deep resonant sound that just keeps going, that completely distinguishes it from other bells. Some have interpreted the bell's sound as a baby's wail that sounds like Emile, which is why it's also called Emilejong. Now, there's a very widespread and horrible sounding legend behind it, and it is that there's a baby in this bell. The most widely known version of the legend is this one. Buddhist monks in Shilla collected donations to cast this great bell, but one poor widow could only offer her baby, and the monks, understandably, declined. When the bell failed to produce a proper sound, it was believed that not all offerings had been accepted, prompting the monks to go back, collect the child from the widow, and sacrifice the baby in the molten metal. The completed bell was set to then ring with a haunting Emile sound like a child's cry. But this is only a legend. This did not happen. It is not historically verified at all. No historian considers this as something that actually occurred. The government even tested the materials of the bell and found no traces of any human remains in it. So if you ever hear this legend about this bell, know that it is completely fiction. The bell does not have a baby in it, especially considering Shilla was a Buddhist nation. No Buddhist would ever accept this. They would rather have the bell not made if this was the case. As for the bell's long, beautiful resonance, it's because of several unique design features. First is a special sound tube at the top that helps the bell ring for longer. And then there's also a resonance chamber dug into the ground below the bell, which helps shape and sustain the sound. And lastly, the inside of the bell is intentionally made slightly uneven so that different sound waves interact, creating a continuous pulsing echo effect called magnori. And together, these elements allow the bell's tone to linger and shimmer. The National Museum of Korea has said that this track was a result of a collaboration between them, the National Museum Foundation of Korea, and HYBE. They obtained a very high quality sound clip of the bell for the track, and that's why you can hear the bell clearly go on for almost the entirety of the track until it fades away. And it is such a gift because they don't ring this bell anymore out of concerns for damaging it. The last time they rang this bell was September 2025, which was the first time in 22 years. They did it in order to study the sound and check that the bell is intact. And I assume that was when they got this recording. Now we get to hear this rare and amazing bell sound that spreads within your heart like a warm wind. It is a wonderful gift, my friends. And I think the reason why this bell was included is very clear to me. This is a bell that represents the pinnacle of art and technology during the age of unified Shilla. It is a bell that shows just how deep and rich our history and culture is. But moreover, it is an artifact that is known for its sound. It wouldn't be an overstatement to say that the sound of this bell is a sound that represents Korea's culture and history. And what better way to show the beauty of Korea's heritage, especially for BTS, whose music is now undoubtedly a part of Korea's rich lineage of sounds, than to play this bell right in the middle of the album so that the entire world can tune in to one of Korea's most treasured sounds.
I really love the song Aliens on Arirang. I wish there was a bit more conversation about it because it's literally a song about BTS responding to their treatment in the West. I don't know if you guys have gone through the lyrics of Alien, but I really like it a lot, especially Namjoon's verse is so good. Actually, let's start in the chorus. I love the line, if you want to hit my house, shoes off at the door. Out of the east, the sun's rising. Then to Namjoon's verse, let me talk about the business. Everybody knows where the K is. Referencing BTS put K-pop on the map. Saying, okay, how far are we going to take it? So cursing us out, talking trash, pardon me. And then from a Reddit post, I actually learned that this person that he references is a Korean activist. As I looked him up, I guess he's done a lot of work helping Korea gain their independence from Japan. As I'm reading more about him, he's very, very pro-Korean. Believes in strength through culture, XYZ. So this makes sense. And then he goes on to say, I'm the only one who can speak English, but that is how we kill. We don't need to learn English. Korean is fine. You guys with those big eyes. And we know why he said this, because people are very racist and always making commentary about Asian people's eyes. I don't know, guys. I just really love hearing BTS clap back at the Western industry. The song sounds, I love the vocal line on this song. It sounds so good.